Happy E-Day, everyone. As our bell work says, I hope that you are having a fantastic and very productive E-Day so far. So, today in math, we are going to be actually starting a new chapter. We're going to be starting chapter 3, which is about using patterns to help us solve math problems. So, today we're going to be talking about how do I describe a pattern and how do I write rules for number patterns. So today you're going to need your workbook, so you should have that with you. If you don't have that with you and you need to find the notes and our assignment, you can log into your online textbook. And remember, you will need to use probably like Internet Explorer or Firefox to be able to access the student workbook portion. And then if you click on, once you're logged in, if you click on the worksheet center, we use Daily Guided Notes version A and Practice version A. So if you have forgotten your workbook at home, you can find those two things by logging into your online textbook. All right, so we are going to be, our notes are going to be on page 34 in our guided notes. So if you need to hit pause to get to page 34, you can do that. So here are important vocabulary terms for the day that we need to know. We need to know that each number in a pattern is called a term. So we need to jot down that vocabulary word. We also need to know, and you might know this from science class as well, a conjecture is a prediction about what may happen. So when we're looking at number patterns, we are really going to be making a prediction about what the next number in the sequence will be. And a sequence is a set of numbers that follows a pattern. So you can hit pause to get these vocabulary definitions jotted down if you need to do that. And then when you are ready, you can go ahead and unpause. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to find the number pattern. So I have a pattern of 5, 12, 19, 26, and the little dots mean we're going to continue to find that. So if I look to see what's happening in between the 5 and the 12, I see that I'm going to be adding 7. So let's see if that same pattern holds true in between 12 and 19. I see that it does. So each term is 7 more than the previous term. So that means I'm going to be adding 7 each time. So 26 plus 7 is 33. 33 plus 7 is 40. So again, each time I am adding 7 to get my next term. So the fifth and sixth terms are 33 and 40. So some things that we might need to know if I see that my if the terms in my pattern are going up, I can add or multiply. And if my terms are going down, I can subtract or divide. So that might be something that you need to keep in mind. So you're going to go ahead and hit pause, and you're going to fill in the quick checks, and then I'll be back to check your answers with you. So go ahead and hit pause. All right, welcome back. We're going to check our answers here real fast. We can see that in between each term, I am adding 10. So the next two terms are 41 and 51. For B, it looks like I am subtracting 8 each time. So my next two terms are going to be 24 and 16. And in C, it looks like I am adding 7. So 57, hello Pin, and 64 will be my next two terms. All right, the next thing we're going to do, and I really enjoy doing these. This time we're going to write a rule for our patterns. So, when we write a rule for our pattern, we are going to okay, so again, next we're going to look at writing a rule. So we are now looking we've flipped the page to page 35, and we're going to be looking at number 3, writing a rule. So our question asks us to write a rule to describe this number pattern. So first of all, let's look at the number pattern and the terms that are in there. I go from 2.3 to 4.4. So I see that we are adding 2.1. Let's see if that works for the next two terms. 4.4 plus 2.1 does indeed give me 6.5, and that continues to work on. So first we're going to see our next two terms. If we add 2.1, our next two terms are going to be 10 and 7/10, and then if we add 2.1 again, we're going to end up with our next term to be 12 and 8/10, and our next term to be 14 and 9/10, because we are adding 2 and 1/10 each time. So what can we say our rule is? Well, our rule is we are starting with 2 and 3/10 and adding 2 and 1/10 repeatedly. So this is how we write a rule. So mathematically we know what's happening, then what's the rule that we're going to follow out in words? This is our rule. So let's go ahead, and you are going to pause, and you are going to write a rule for each pattern. So we're looking at quick check 3A. So you're going to write a rule for each pattern and then write the next 3 terms. So go ahead and hit pause, and then I'll be back with the correct answers. All right, welcome back. Let's see if we have the same answers that I got. I have that our rule is to start with 1 and 5/10 and multiply by 3 repeatedly. So at first when we look at this, we might think, oh, we're going to add 3. But then when I look at the second and third terms, adding 3 doesn't work, because then this would be 7.5, not 13.5. So then we know that we have to be multiplying. So then our next numbers are going to be 121 and 5/10, 364 and 5/10, and 1093 and 5/10. All right, and for our next one, we should have gotten that our rule is to start with 256 and divide. I know it's going to be dividing because my numbers are getting smaller. Divide by 2 repeatedly. So my next terms, I'll use a different color here. My next 3 terms are going to be 64 divided by 2 is 32, and then we'll have 16, and then we'll have 8. So again, the main goal for today is to be able to describe a pattern and write rules for number patterns. So our homework is for today, our practice problems, is going to be in our practice workbook. We're going to do page 239, and there's only 16 problems for today, so we're actually going to do all 16 of those. And again, if you have misplaced your practice workbook or forgot to take it home, you can find this online on your online textbook account. So I hope that everyone has a fantastic e-day, and we'll see you tomorrow.